What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with something that has been waiting for a very long time, and in that regard, major thank you to Mark, not only for providing music in a few different deep dives, but always offering wise, insightful, and knowledgeable comments, and I've been happy to see you commenting a lot more again recently. And yes, we're going to listen to, I think, part of a Dusty Springfield album, and that's a name I think I had heard before, but not really known who she was or anything about her. And I remember when I started going through Pet Shop Boys, and especially when I started reacting to the Liza Minnelli album produced by Pet Shop Boys, people, and I think Mark specifically, talked about how they had also produced an album, or I think part of the album, for Dusty Springfield, and Mark had shared it a while back, and then I had downloaded it, and it was sitting on my computer, and I wasn't sure like where it came from, and I remember at some point I speculated about that, and Mark was like, wait, no, that was from me, I sent that. So yes, I've been trying to get to this for a while. We are here to do it now, and as I said, I think it's only like half the album or something, because it's the last several tunes. I think it's like tunes 7 through 12 or something, or 7 through 11. Let me check and be a bit more accurate here. And then there's another one. It's 6 through 10, and then the 14th track, which looks to be a 12-inch version of the tune we're about to hear, which is In Private. So I'm assuming those specifically are the ones that Neil and Chris had a hand in. And yeah, as I said, I don't really know who Dusty Springfield is. I probably saw something about her, like, written, meaning I don't think I've heard any of her actual music or singing. I could be wrong in that regard, but certainly not enough to recollect what it was. And yes, I think this album Reputation is from 1997, and I remember, like, once I got the context of where this was, I remember just typing in, like, because I wanted to know the year, and I think Discogs came back with 1997, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, I don't know the context of this album relative to her larger discography, but I am curious. In any case, In Private, the idea of doing something away from public view or prying eyes, or something that is discreet, secret between people, though that is not necessarily indicated. It's certainly one of the ways that In Private might be relevant, or the meaning of it might manifest. But yes, the idea again of something which is kept secluded from others, whether deliberately or because of logistical or specific concerns. Now, what that is, what is in private here, is not indicated. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sense of romance or sexual encounter, or at the very least emotions that would be troubling or problematic or difficult if they were on public view, or in public view. In any case, let's see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Dusty Springfield. The tune is In Private, and as I said, I believe this is produced by the Pet Shop Boys, and it's an album from, yes, 1997. It says it in the metadata here. number one, that's a fun tune. There's a fun energy to the sonics, which, sorry, it's still going. But yeah, sonically, I'd say like I can hear the what I would call like late 80s bleeding into the 90s style production, in that, you know, it's got a bit of electric energy and, you know, a bit of a dance floor vibe. But it also reminds me of like a 60s female singing group, like Motown kind of tune. It's got a bit of that sing-along soul to it, and even some sections where there's like a line and then the backing singers sort of shadow the line as if it's, you know, kind of like a dialogue. So yeah, again, it reminds me a bit of like a Motown 60s soul meets mid-90s tune. That's kind of where I would place it sonically, and I enjoy the different elements, including those which feel very Pet Shop Boys, like, again, the electric or, you know, like synth bass line, the synth strings, I'm assuming those are synth strings, little synth brass flourishes, and I enjoy the, like, tambourine. There was like a really strong clap. I was noticing the hand clap in the first part of the tune. It was a very powerful one, and then again there's like a, you know, tambourine kind of percussive layer, and, you know, a little bit of a rhythmic flourish as it leads into the chorus. So that was all good, and again, a very fun and soulful tune. And her voice, it actually reminds me, like, I don't know, a bit Natalie Cole, a bit Oleta Adams, like somewhere in there. Like, it, there's a lot of soul to it, is I guess what I'm saying, but there's also like a playfulness to her delivery at a couple points. So yeah, I very much enjoyed that, and sonically it feels more or less like what I was thinking. The idea that she was seeing this guy in private and they were kind of keeping it, they were being discreet, but eventually they were found out, and now she's wondering, okay, now that we're kind of in the garish light of day, what are you going to do in public? Are you going to deny that you actually love me or have feelings for me? Are you going to say, well, I can't really remember, I don't know? Like, she wants to know, like, hey, you know, this is me and you, and just because now it's kind of public knowledge, she's saying things shouldn't change. Like, we're in this together, so she's curious whether the guy's attitude is suddenly going to shift. Now, I don't know if that's because he or maybe she were in another relationship, and I'd be more inclined to think that he might have been. But maybe it's just like, you know, he's playing the field, or he, you know, doesn't want to get tied down to anyone, so he kind of was keeping it on the down low, and then now that it's in the public, it's like, well, are you going to carry on with me and, like, we'll be known as a couple, or are you going to back away and, like, nah, sorry, you know, it's cramping my style or something? It feels like that's kind of the story here, and it's at this, you know, knife-tipping moment where she's wondering what his response is going to be. Will he recede, or will he say, you know what, grab her hand, and will they carry on as they've been, but no longer in private? So maybe I'm missing something there, maybe there's a layer of the narrative I didn't pick up on, but that was kind of the story I got. And yeah, that was fun. I definitely enjoy her vocals, and the production is certainly, you know, maybe it's because I know it's Neil and Chris, but I feel like the PSB touch is very identifiable there. So, as I said, I'm looking forward to this. Thank you to Mark for the material and the exceptional patience, because again, this was sent to me like over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, something. So I appreciate the patience. We will go through it now. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Peace.